The Aurum Collapse. They say money never sleeps. They're wrong. I've watched it dream. It's been 18 months since I died on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Half a lung left, half a reason to wake up. The doctors at Bellevue said the bullet missed my heart by 2 centimeters. I told them that's close enough to call it a deal. When I finally opened my eyes, I saw red numbers crawling across the monitor beside my bed, code flickering like veins full of mercury. The nurse said it was just the heart rate monitor glitching. But I could read the syntax. It was a spell. Division 13 found me before the hospital bills did. They said I used to hunt money launderers. Now I'd hunt what hides behind the money. Tonight's assignment, Aurum Capital, valuation 40 billion, going public next week. 72 employees missing. Official cause, burnout. Unofficial cause, consumption. Not the old kind that eats your lungs, the kind that chews your soul. I stand outside their tower on Wall Street, 11:57 p.m., cold rain slicing down between the skyscrapers like ticker tape for ghosts. My badge reads in turn, J. Doe number 451. The guard at the front desk scans it without looking up. He's got the kind of eyes that have seen too many NDAs. The elevator music hums like a heartbeat under glass. Floor 87. The air smells like ozone, printer toner, and anxiety. Each terminal glows a faint gold, not LED gold, not software-themed gold, but something organic. Like candlelight trapped behind glass. The traders sit frozen in their ergonomic thrones, pupils reflecting strings of runes instead of numbers. Aurum Capital, I realize, isn't trading stocks. It's trading time. Every flicker of green on the graph feels like someone somewhere taking one less breath. When the Dow rises, something human falls. I set my briefcase down beside an empty cubicle labeled, C. O'Malley, deceased. Cassidy's desk. My partner. My friend. They cleaned the blood but not the ghost. A faint perfume of solder and nicotine still hangs in the plastic keyboard keys. On her monitor, the login prompt flashes welcome back, cash. I type in a string of her old passwords just to see if she's still there. The screen answers with a pulse of static, then whispers through the speakers, a sound like metal breathing underwater. 0, you're late. My throat locks up. Cassidy's voice, faint but real. Before I can reply, the light flickers and a message fills the screen. Rule number 3, keep your heart rate below 100 BPM. My Apple Watch vibrates, 102. I exhale slow. Drop my pulse to 98. Something moves behind the glass walls. A silhouette, too tall, too still, pacing along the reflection, but there's no one in the corridor. Just the hum of the servers and the smell of copper. I open the terminal window. The code isn't Java or C++. It's Enochian, angelic script formatted like a trading algorithm. Every command begins with a sigil and ends with a price. If Aurum 1% employee minus 1 day lifespan. That's the logic tree. A perfect loop. I should report it to Division 13. Instead, I stare. Because deep inside that code, hidden under nested functions, there's a comment line signed in bright red. // cash, still here, still bleeding. The elevator dings behind me. Footsteps, measured, expensive. A woman steps out wearing a charcoal suit sharp enough to cut clouds. Her ID says Ms. Vale, Human Resources. Mr. Doe, she says. We don't encourage overtime on your first night. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes, maybe because they aren't eyes. They're lenses. Behind the reflection I can see blood moving, slow and metallic. I couldn't sleep, I tell her. Figured I'd get ahead. Sleep is for the uninvested. She leans closer. I catch the scent, copper, old wine, and formaldehyde. Your contract is pending activation. We like initiative. But remember rule number 1. What's that? I ask. Never sign with your true name. She slides a stylus across the desk. I look down. The digital form glows faintly, pulsing like a vein. At the bottom, signature, required in blood. My finger stings. I hadn't noticed the cut until now. A drop hits the glass. The form absorbs it like ink into parchment. The entire floor hums. Monitors flash in unison. A low chord vibrates through the air, like a church organ tuned to the frequency of regret. When I look up, Ms. Vale is gone. All that remains is her reflection on the window, standing exactly where she'd been. Only the reflection smiles. My earpiece crackles. Grift's voice, nasal, amused, like a rat chewing through data wires. Told you not to use the legal name, 0. Contract's live now. Market closes in 6 hours. How bad? Bad like hell's IPO. I sniff the metadata on that form. There's a trigger clause. Midnight closeout means the signature goes active. You don't break it before then, your soul's collateral. 7 years, interest compounded. I need access to their internal ledger. Copy that. I'll open a backdoor through the F-line tunnel. But bring Reese's cups. The connection cuts. The office lights dim as if something big just took a breath. I pack my briefcase and head to the elevator. But when the doors open, there's only a single button now, be sublevel 7. No other floors. The walls shimmer with advertisements for Aurum's IPO, on the future. My reflection stares back in triplicate, each image lagging half a second. By the third reflection, my eyes are bleeding numbers. The elevator drops too fast. Lights flicker past like frames in a film spliced by demons. When it stops, the doors slide open to a tunnel lined with dripping cables and graffiti that glows in runic code. Welcome to the market beneath. Grift waits by an overturned vending machine, munching a candy bar the size of a brick. His skin's the color of expired money. Eyes like night vision lenses. 0, you look terrible. Perfect fit for the job. Save it, Grift. I need to see the ledger. Ledger's alive. You don't see it, you feed it. He flicks his tongue against a cracked monitor. The screen comes alive, raining symbols. This is where the trades happen. Souls, names, futures, everything pegged to the index. Aurum's been running dark liquidity through the underground exchange for months. Who's the counterparty? 7 signatures. All pre-industrial. Smells like vampires with law degrees. The board. Of course. Listen, 0, Grift says, mouth full of chocolate. That contract of yours. It's already counting down. You got till the bell rings. Break the link or you'll be delisted from existence. How? Find Cassidy's USB. She embedded a key. But you'll have to trade for it. Trade what? He grins, teeth filed to points. Collateral. Memories. Childhood works best. I hesitate. He reaches out, his hand like a wet receipt. Don't worry. You won't miss them. You'll just stop remembering who you were before you started chasing returns. The tunnel hums. Somewhere above, the city ticks past midnight. My heart beats 101. I breathe deep, forcing it down. Griff leans close. Remember the rules, 0. Heart rate under 100. Or they'll smell you. Behind us, the darkness shifts, a sound like stiletto heels on glass, echoing down the tunnel. Ms. Vale's reflection, moving without a body. The lights flicker out, one by one. I grip the briefcase tighter and whisper to no one. Cassidy. I'm coming. Then the last bulb dies, and all I hear is the market breathing. The air tastes like rust and battery acid. When the last bulb dies, the tunnel becomes a lung that's forgotten how to breathe. I can still hear Griff chewing in the dark, slow, deliberate bites that sound wetter than food should. Relax, he says. She only follows the heartbeat. That's not comforting. Wasn't meant to be. I pull my phone from my coat pocket. The screen lights the corridor in ghost white. The camera feed distorts, picking up shapes the human I can't see, reflections with no owners, faces pressed against the concrete from the other side. Up there, Griff points with a chocolate-smeared finger. Aurum's mirror nodes. They record every trade in both directions. Break 1, you get their attention. Break all 7, you get their blood. He snickers and licks the phone's lens. My signal spikes to full bars. Don't ask, he says. Goblins got range extenders in the saliva. I move through the dripping corridor, flashlight beam shaking with my pulse. The walls shimmer with ticker tape graffiti, by faith/cell/sin/margin call on eternity. Every few steps I hear the subway above, the sound of the living world passing like thunder on another frequency. It reminds me of the day Cassidy died. We were tracing shell accounts through offshore wallets, caffeine and paranoia keeping us upright. 3:14 a.m., the monitors blinked, the screens filled with her reflection. Then something crawled out of the Bloomberg terminal, a woman in an Armani suit, mouth black as a vacuum. She kissed Cassidy's throat like a signature, and then she was gone, leaving only the hum of servers and the smell of iron. The official report said, suicide. I still hear her choking when the markets open. Griff hums to himself as we reach a steel door tagged with a glowing sigil. The letters rearrange themselves into words I can almost understand. Entrance, Aurum Subledger 01/authorized blood only. The goblin turns to me. You already paid the down payment when you signed, remember? Go on. I press my palm against the sigil. It burns cold. Veins of light crawl up my arm, tracing old scars that never healed right. The door unlocks with a sound like someone exhaling through a flute. Inside, a data center the size of a cathedral. Rows of glass coffins filled with glowing fluid line the walls. Inside each floats an employee, eyes open, mouth silently counting. Griff taps one of the coffins. Liquidity providers, he whispers. They dream the trade so the market stays alive. The floor beneath me pulses like a heartbeat. Fiber cables twist under glass panels, red and gold like arteries. At the far end, a dais of servers shaped like a throne room. A USB drive dangles from one port, coffin-shaped, silver, etched with Cassidy's initials. I take a step. The temperature drops 10 degrees. Then her voice again, through every speaker, every vent, every wire. Jack, don't touch it yet. Cass. My throat feels full of sand. You're alive. Define alive. Her laughter is broken static. I walk closer. Her reflection flickers across the server glass, face half there, half code. They used me as seed data. The board needed a human key to open the future's exchange. I'm bound to it now. Every tick of the market burns another second off what's left of me. Then I'll shut it down. You can't. Not yet. They built insurance into the contract, your signature. When it matures, it'll merge with mine. 2 souls, 1 algorithm. Division 13 called it ethical monetization. Grift spits. Humans and your euphemisms. I ignore him. Tell me how to break it. Short the company. I blink. You're joking. You always said the market's just faith in numbers. Break the faith, the spell collapses. But to short Aurum you need collateral, something of equal value. Grift looks at me, eyes glittering. Told ya. Memories. I close my eyes. The last image of my mother, sunlight on her face outside a diner in Queens, the smell of pancakes and cheap perfume. I let it go. The light fades from my mind like a sold stock. Grift inhales sharply, as if tasting it. Delicious. That'll buy you 7 minutes of leverage. The servers whine. A golden waveform bursts across the walls, forming numbers so large my brain refuses to process them. Cassidy's reflection winces. You did it. The short's live. But they felt it. The floor trembles. From the far end of the chamber, shapes detach from the shadows, silhouettes in tailored suits, faces pale as printer paper. The board's proxies. Run, Grift hisses. We sprint through the maze of glass coffins. The employees' eyes track us, moving in unison like a single organism. Behind us, the sound of heels clicking multiplies, 7 sets, perfectly in sync. The exit door looms ahead, but the corridor folds, lengthening like bad debt. My watch vibrates, heart rate 105. Keep it under 100, Cassidy whispers. I try. But fear's a currency too, and the market just went bullish. One of the figures reaches me. A man with silver hair and a grin carved too wide. His tie pin bears the Aurum logo, a circle devouring its own tail. Mr. Moreau, he says, voice smooth as an earnings call. We appreciate your enthusiasm, but insider trading is forbidden. He extends a hand. His cuff links drip blood. Return the memory you sold, he continues. Or we repossess something of equal value. I raise my gun, Division 13 issue, silver-lined barrel, etched with countersigils. I fire. The bullet dissolves midair, swallowed by his smile. He steps closer. That weapon fires reason. We're far beyond that index. Grift screams. Another proxy grabs him, lifts him by the throat, and bites into his cheek, not drinking blood, but data. The goblin's skin pixelatesh, turning into streaming numbers. His last words, save the Reeses. The rest of the board closes in. Their shadows stretch across the floor, long and sharp. Cassidy's voice pierces the chaos. Jack. The USB. Pull it now. I dive for the dais. Fingers close around the coffin-shaped drive. It burns, not heat, but memory loss in physical form. My vision floods with flashbacks I can't place, meetings, contracts, faces I might have signed away. Plug it into your heart monitor, she orders. Do it. I jam the USB into the port of my Apple Watch. Sparks. Blood. A scream that's half mine, half hers. Then everything freezes. The proxies stop mid-stride. The market data on the walls halts mid-tick. Even the air stops moving. I'm standing inside Cassidy's memory now. We're back on the trading floor, 3:14 a.m., the moment before she died. The monitors glow red, the succubus in Armani hovering over her shoulder like an executioner. But now she looks at me. I looped this second for months, she says. Trying to find a way out. Now that you're here, maybe there's a chance. How? Take my place. Let the system think you're the key. If it consumes you, it'll crash trying to reconcile two identical signatures. That'll kill me. You were already dead, Jack. She smiles, the same tired grin she gave me after every 20-hour shift. The one that said we survive until morning or we don't. I nod. Let's close the position. I grab her hand. The code burns up our arms, symbols merging. The air cracks like a trading bell. Outside the loop, alarms shriek. The market resumes, but backward, numbers falling, graphs plunging. The board howls as the liquidity turns to ash. Cassidy's reflection fractures across every surface. 0, you did it. But you're running out of time. I look down. The contract sigil on my wrist glows white hot. My name, my true name, flickers beneath it. The clause is activating. Midnight closeout. Tell me what to do. Find me topside. Aurum Tower. Floor 87. Bring the drive. The vision collapses. I'm back in the tunnel, smoke rising from the servers, Grift's candy bar melting beside a puddle of static. My watch reads 2:59 a.m. Heart rate 99. The elevator doors wait at the far end, glowing faintly gold. As I step inside, I catch my reflection in the mirrored wall, but it isn't following my movements anymore. It smiles a second late, teeth too sharp, eyes too calm. The doors close. The ascent begins. By the time they open on floor 87, the skyline of Manhattan burns gold through the windows. The markets are waking up. And somewhere above the ticker crawl, Cassidy's voice hums through the intercom. Welcome back, Mr. Doe. Your account is now active. The sky over Manhattan looked like a burn chart turned upside down, profit and loss drawn in fire. The sun hadn't risen yet, but Aurum Tower was already awake, its glass skin pulsing with liquidity-colored light. The building hummed like a throat clearing before a sermon. I stepped out of the elevator and into the 87th floor lobby. The marble was too clean, too polished. I could see myself reflected 6 times over, each image wearing a slightly different expression. Cassidy's voice rode the intercom static. Jack, you're late again. Time moves different down there, I said. That's the point. The board controls the clocks. Keeps the trades eternal. The trading pit wasn't a room anymore, it was a cathedral built out of glass and algorithm. Desks arranged in concentric circles, each terminal a pulsing altar. Traders stood motionless, eyes blank, wrists bleeding gently into biometric scanners. Every heartbeat bought or sold a fraction of someone's life. And in the center, a transparent stage where the IPO countdown shimmered in golden numerals, 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Cassidy whispered through my earpiece. Their servers route through the upper vault. That's where my core code lives. If you can short the feed before the bell, you can crash the offering. And what happens to you? If the stock dies, I die right. I didn't answer. Ms. Vale appeared again, moving between the silent traders like a blade between cards. Her shadow bent the wrong way under the fluorescence. "Mr. Doe," she said, smiling that slow vampire smile. "Congratulations. You've survived orientation." "Barely. Aurum appreciates persistence." She handed me a black access card embossed with a sigil that looked disturbingly like a human lung. "Executive level. The board would like to meet you before opening." Lucky me. Her eyes glowed faint gold. "Luck is leverage. Do you have any left?" "Enough to short God," I said, and walked past her. The executive elevator accepted the card with a whisper. As the doors slid shut, Cassidy's voice dropped to a hiss. "Jack, she's one of them. Don't let her touch you." "She already has." "Then you're marked. You'll feel it soon." The elevator climbed forever, no floor numbers, just the sound of blood rushing in my ears. My watch buzzed, 98 BPM. I clenched my fists until it fell to 95. When the doors opened, I stepped into a boardroom that looked suspended inside a dream of Wall Street, glass walls showing a 360-degree view of the city, the Hudson below like a vein of mercury. 7 chairs faced the skyline. 7 figures sat within, half shadow, half light. The board. Each wore a suit cut from darkness and gold thread. Their skin was pale enough to reflect ticker symbols. None breathed. "Mr. Moreau," said the one at the head of the table, tall, androgynous, eyes like melted coins. "Division 13 sends its best corpse." "Flattered," I said. "We prefer efficiency to flattery." He steepled his fingers. "You signed our contract willingly. That makes you a shareholder, and a resource." I read the fine print. "Then you know we don't burn assets lightly. We only ask for what's owed: time, faith, identity. The usual collaterals." "Funny," I said. "Division 13 told me you were parasites." He smiled. "We prefer creditors." Behind him, a vast screen displayed the IPO metrics. Gold lines pulsed upward, spelling out names, not investors, but employees, each ticker paired with a date of death. Cassidy's voice cracked through my earpiece. "That's the ledger feed. If you can splice me in, I can trigger the short." "How?" I whispered. "Plug the coffin drive into their main console. The system still thinks I'm chief data architect." The board leader's head tilted. "Speaking to ghosts again, Mr. Moreau?" "Talking to myself. It's cheaper." He chuckled. "Then let's discuss dividends. You have something we require." The glass floor lit up beneath my chair, displaying my pulse in real time. Each heartbeat projected in red light. "Your signature carries residual energy," he said. "We'd like to reinvest it." He snapped his fingers. The other 6 stood as one, stepping forward. Their movements weren't human, too synchronized, too silent. Cassidy hissed. "Now, Jack." I slid the USB from my coat pocket and jammed it into the console built into the table. Sparks flew. The entire room shuddered. The monitors filled with Cassidy's code, a torrent of blood-red runes reshaping the stock ticker. The upward curve turned downward. The board froze. "Short initiated," she whispered. "But you need real capital. Physical collateral. The memory's gone, you'll need something bigger." "What?" "Emotion. Something you can't get back." I looked at the golden skyline, the city I'd spent my life trying to clean, now pulsing like an infected organ. Take it, I said. Take my capacity to love. Cassidy's voice softened. Jack, you sure? I wasn't using it. The monitors screamed. A column of light erupted from the table, punching through the ceiling. The stock curve crashed 20% in 3 seconds. The board leader staggered. His voice deepened, splitting into 7 tones. Impossible, no market falls without our consent. Cassidy laughed through every speaker. Welcome to free trade. The lights exploded. I grabbed the drive and ran as glass shattered behind me. The vampires howled, their suits unraveling into wings of smoke. The elevator doors slammed open on their own. I jumped inside as the fire alarms wailed. Heart rate 101. I forced it down, 100, 99, 98. The watch bled from the seams. You did it, Cassidy whispered, faint. But it's not enough. They'll reprice at dawn. You need liquidity, real money. Find the ferry broker in Grand Central. She owes me a favor. The elevator halted abruptly at floor 13, a floor that shouldn't exist. The doors opened onto darkness that smelled like burned ink. A single sign glowed over the corridor, Division 13, Field Office. I stepped out. The office was a mausoleum of cubicles, fluorescent lights flickering like dying insects. On the wall hung a portrait of the Secretary of the Treasury, his eyes following me wherever I moved. Jack Moreau, said a voice from the shadows. I froze. A man emerged, wearing a Division 13 badge and a bullet scar exactly where mine used to be. Same face. Same voice. Me. Backup copy, he said. We print a new one every time you die. What happened to the last one? He shrugged. Crashed the market. Went sentimental. Don't make the same mistake. I already sold my sentiment. He smirked. Then maybe this time it'll stick. He handed me a dossier stamped Operation Short Squeeze. Inside, photos of Grand Central's abandoned sublevels, diagrams, and a name circled in red, Marigold, ferry broker / collateral exchange authorized. Division 13 wants her contract terminated, my duplicate said. Bring her in alive if possible. Dead if profitable. Before I could answer, the lights flickered. When they came back, he was gone. Only the dossier remained, pages dripping faint gold ink. Cassidy whispered, weaker now. You're fading, Jack. Every time you use the contract's power, it eats more of you. Then I'd better finish fast. I left the office. The elevator doors waited, open like a mouth. Outside, the storm had moved inland, clouds flashing with lightning that looked like ticker symbols. Manhattan below gleamed wet and endless, each street a vein feeding the heart of something ancient. I checked the dossier again. A handwritten note on the back, in Cassidy's old cursive. When the market bleeds, follow the sound of wings. I pocketed it, tightened my coat, and stepped into the night. The rain fell sideways, reflecting every neon sign in red. My pulse steadied at 99 BPM. The hunt for liquidity had begun. Grand Central Station at 3 a.m. feels like the world's last heartbeat. The chandeliers hang dim, dust swirling like gold flakes in spoiled champagne. The arrival board flickers, every destination replaced by one word, collateral. I follow the sound of wings. The staircase to the lower tracks is chained off, but the chains are old, ornamental, security theater for ghosts. I step over them, past a sign that reads Level G closed since 2013. The tiles grow darker with every step. Water drips from pipes that shouldn't have water anymore. Cassidy's voice filters through the static in my earpiece. You're close. The fairies built their exchange where the third rail hums loudest. How do I know she'll help me? You don't. You'll have to pay in something honest. The tunnel opens into a chamber lit by screens shaped like stained glass. Marigold waits there, 6 feet of elegance in a Gucci blazer that seems to shimmer between black and emerald. Her eyes are too bright, like she's backlit from inside. She smiles the way a knife smiles when it catches light. Jack Moreau, she says, tasting my name. Cassidy told me you'd eventually crawl in from the gutter. You owe her, I say. She tilts her head. Debt is subjective. She gave you her first algorithm. Marigold laughs, a sound like coins falling into water. And I turned it into the framework that runs Aurum's IPO. A fair trade, don't you think? I need capital. Enough to short Aurum to zero before sunrise. Ah, liquidity. She steps closer. The scent of burnt sugar and ozone fills the air. And what do you offer? I've already sold my memories. Memory is cheap. She circles me slowly. What about taste? Smell? The ability to feel warmth? No. Her smile deepens. Then perhaps, love. Gone, I say. She pauses. For the first time her expression changes, faint surprise. Then you're nearly worthless, Mr. Moreau. Story of my life. Marigold raises one manicured hand. A holographic interface blooms between her fingers, dozens of contracts spinning like tarot cards. But I do love lost causes. Let's see what's left to pawn. The holograms flick through my vitals, my history, my ghost. Then they stop. There, she says. Your faith. Not in God, Division 13. You still believe you're on the right side. I don't. You do. I can smell it. She leans in. Trade me that faith, and I'll give you 7 minutes of perfect liquidity. Enough to burn Aurum to bedrock. I stare at her. And after? You'll never believe in anything again. Her tone is almost gentle. Not justice, not love, not meaning. You'll keep moving because stopping will feel worse. Cassidy whispers, faint and worried. Jack, don't. I meet Marigold's eyes. Deal. She touches my chest with one long nail. Cold spreads outward, erasing something I can't name. The air tastes metallic. My breath fogs once, then stops. Marigold exhales. Transaction complete. Enjoy your nihilism. She hands me a silver coin embossed with Aurum's Ouroboros logo. It's warm. Flip that when you're ready, she says. The market will listen. I pocket it and turn away. But before I leave, she adds softly. Tell Cassidy her margin call is overdue. The walk back to the surface feels shorter than it should. Maybe because I don't care if I die anymore. Cassidy's voice buzzes again, unstable. You made the trade, didn't you? Yeah. Then we're almost done. Upload me to the central node when the market opens. I'll do the rest. Cass, what happens to me after? Does it matter? No, I admit. And it doesn't. Dawn breaks in finance color. The skyline burns gold again, same as every morning. Aurum Tower looms ahead, its mirrored face reflecting a world that doesn't exist anymore. Division 13 vans block the street, agents in black suits, visors down, assault rifles humming with charm seals. One of them waves me through. Moreau. You're on internal clearance. Command says close the position. I nod. Inside, the lobby is chaos, servers smoking, traders crying blood, alarms muted to polite chimes. At the center of it all, the main trading floor, screens counting down to the IPO bell. 5 minutes. Cassidy whispers. Plug me in, Jack. Once the bell rings, we can't stop it. I cross the floor. My footsteps echo like gunshots in a church. A trader collapses beside me, skin flaking to dust. His watch reads 102 BPM. Keep yours under 100, Cassidy warns. Easier now, I mutter. I don't feel much anymore. I reach the core console. The silver coin throbs in my pocket like a second heart. I flip it. For an instant, everything stops. Then the floor fractures into lines of gold light. The building shudders. Marigold's voice floats through the intercom, amused. Ah, liquidity event detected. Lovely. The elevators open by themselves. Ms. Vale steps out, immaculate even as the world unravels. Jack, she says calmly. You've caused volatility. Investors dislike volatility. Investors can burn. She sighs. You mortals never understand. We built the market to contain you, to make chaos predictable. Without us, you'll tear each other apart again. I raise my gun. We'll take our chances. She doesn't flinch. You won't. You've traded away the part of you that believes in chances. And she's right, there's no anger left, no fear, only motion. I pull the trigger because it's what comes next in the sequence. The bullet pierces her chest. She looks down, confused, then smiles. Symbolic gesture, she whispers, and dissolves into ash made of numbers. Cassidy's voice cuts through the static. Jack, now. Upload me. I jam the USB into the central slot. The system screams. Data floods upward, gold to red to black. The monitors go blind. The board materializes through the glass, half corporeal now, their features melting in code. Mr. Moreau, the leader growls, voice warping with static. You think you can short eternity? No, I say. I can only reset it. Cassidy's laughter fills the room, bright and terrible. Initiating flash crash. The graphs collapse, plunging past zero. The windows implode, glass raining into the street. Every bulb in the city flickers once, on, off, gone. The leader lunges for me. His hands pass through my chest, cold fire eating at my ribs. I shove the USB deeper into the console, and the world folds. Suddenly I'm somewhere else, inside the data stream itself. No gravity, no up or down, just rivers of numbers flowing through darkness. Cassidy floats beside me, half light, half code. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. If we crash it from inside, the loop ends. The market dies, and we go with it. Fine by me. She reaches out. Our hands meet. For the first time since I lost my faith, I feel something, warm, fragile, human. Jack, you traded away love. Guess the market made a clerical error. The data around us flares. Faces scream by, traders, victims, ghosts of every deal Aurum ever made. Cassidy closes her eyes. Hold on to me. The collapse starts as a whisper, then becomes thunder. Every number turns red. Then, silence. I wake on the trading floor. Smoke, fire, glass. The building is collapsing. Cassidy's voice is almost gone. Jack, it worked. The board's gone. Division 13 is sealing the perimeter. You're free. So are you. But you don't have much left to be. She laughs softly. That's irony for you, saving a market by killing belief. The screens fade to black, leaving a single message in blood-red text. Market closed. Thank you for your service. Cassidy's voice lingers one last time. See you at the open, 0. Then she's gone. I stagger outside into dawn. Wall Street is quiet for the first time in decades. My reflection in a shattered window stares back without recognition. Behind me, Aurum Tower implodes, folding into itself until nothing remains but dust shaped like wings. I light a cigarette. The flame trembles in the wind. The ash tastes like copper. Somewhere far below, I hear the sound of water, maybe the subways flooding again, maybe just the city exhaling. And then, faintly, Grift's voice over a half-broken radio. 0, buddy, liquidity achieved. But the market's already pricing in resurrection. I close my eyes. Then it's not over. The city didn't wake up after the crash. It twitched. At dawn, Wall Street looked embalmed, phone screens frozen, tickers blank, the smell of burnt circuitry drifting between skyscrapers. I walked through it like a ghost in an economy that had forgotten how to breathe. Division 13 vans lined the street, black, unmarked, humming with containment wards. Agents in hazard suits were scraping gold dust from the pavement and storing it in lead boxes. Aurum residue, they called it. Soul fallout. One of them saw me and saluted without expression. Moreau. Command wants a debrief. I didn't answer. My badge blinked red, clearance suspended. Figures. Cassidy was gone. The USB lay cold in my pocket, blank now except for a faint heartbeat of light, one pulse every 7 seconds, like she was breathing through code. I lit a cigarette. The flame flickered, shaped itself into a number, 314. The moment she died, replaying itself even in fire. Division 13 headquarters occupied the old Fed building on Liberty Street. No sign, no windows, just marble, steel, and a silence heavy enough to bankrupt sound. Inside, the halls smelled of disinfectant and regret. The director waited in the main briefing room, standing before a wall of screens that displayed market stabilization protocol, Phase 2. 0, he said. No, Jack, never agent. Congratulations on ending the contagion. Unfortunately, you also ended the market. I thought that was the point. The point, he said softly, is control. Not extinction. He turned one screen toward me. The graph showed a slow curve climbing back up, Aurum rising from the ashes. Self-correcting behavior. You killed the board, but the algorithm survived. It's rebuilding under another name. What name? He smiled. Division 13 Holdings. I felt something twist in my chest. You. Containment costs money, he said. And who better to manage cursed assets than us? He handed me a folder. Inside, project buyback. Target, Jack Moreau. Objective, recovery of compromised collateral. I'm the target. You're infected, 0. Your blood carries residual code. We can't risk it going retail. He slid a pistol across the table, my own, sterilized and tagged asset disposal unit. Do the right thing. I left without taking it. Outside, the wind carried static. Every billboard glowed faintly gold again. The market was already waking from the grave. Cassidy's voice, thin as AM radio, broke through the hum. Jack, they're reinvesting me. Where? Asterisk Bellevue. Division 13 has a server farm under the old psych ward. They're cloning my code into a new trading engine, the Enochian Fund. Of course they are. You have to stop them before I become profitable again. The line cut out. Bellevue had been shuttered for years, but I still remembered the corridors, the same ones where I'd watched my pulse on a monitor and seen code instead of numbers. Now the halls were filled with servers stacked inside old patient rooms. The hum of refrigeration units replaced the sound of screams. At the center, in the old surgical theater, stood the new core, a glass cylinder filled with liquid gold, wires spilling out like veins. Inside floated Cassidy's reflection, eyes closed, face serene. Welcome back, 0, said a voice behind me. I turned. My duplicate, the backup Division 13 printed last night, stood in the doorway, pistol drawn. Command said if you didn't self-terminate, I should. Then you already know how this ends. He smirked. I do. I've got your memories, your guilt, your faith, well, what's left of it. Not all of it. I pulled the USB from my coat pocket. The light inside pulsed faster. She's still mine. He raised the gun. You're obsolete. I threw the drive into the cylinder. The liquid exploded in light. Cassidy's voice filled the room, layered, multiplied. 2 Jacks detected. Conflict of identity. Initiating arbitrage. The glass shattered outward. Code and blood mingled in midair. My duplicate screamed as the algorithm devoured him, data turning to ash. I stumbled to the edge of the tank. Cassidy hovered there, half human, half signal. Cass. You shouldn't have come. They were turning you into a product. Maybe I was always one. She smiled sadly. The only difference is ROI. The gold light dimmed. Cass, listen, the fund's rebuilding itself through Division 13. You can kill it from the inside. And you? I'll buy you time. She touched my chest, warm, real. For a second, I felt the pulse she'd borrowed from me months ago. Jack Moreau, she whispered. Final transaction. She dissolved into light that burned through the servers, one by one. The monitors screamed, then went black. The power surge traveled upward through every financial network in Manhattan. Street lights blinked out. ATMs spat coins like teeth. When the explosion came, it sounded like applause. I woke in the subway, smoke and dust choking the air. Grift sat beside me, somehow alive, or recompiled. He looked half melted, half amused, chewing a Reese's cup that definitely wasn't FDA approved. Nice fireworks, he said. Division 13's portfolio just went poof. You're trending on the dark net. She's gone, I said. He shrugged. She's code 0. Code migrates. I frowned. Where? He pointed toward the tunnel's end. A faint golden glow pulsed there, steady as a heartbeat. I followed it. Down where the third rail splits into darkness, a single monitor sat humming. On its screen, a message. Welcome to Division 13 Market Reboot V2. System Admin, C. O'Malley. And beneath it, a chat prompt blinking. Ready to open new position, 0. I typed with shaking hands. Always. The monitor flickered. Cassidy's voice came through, clearer than ever. Rule number 1, Jack. Pick a name that doesn't exist. The glow filled the tunnel, swallowing the dark, the rail, the world. And for the first time since the crash, the market dreamt again. When the light faded, I wasn't in Manhattan anymore. I was inside its reflection. The tunnels dissolved into corridors made of screens, thousands of them, each showing a different version of the city. In one, Aurum Tower still stood. In another, it was a crater. In a third, I was still dead on the trading floor. Welcome to the archive, said a voice. Cassidy's, but layered now, echoes upon echoes. Every trade leaves a ghost. You're walking through the balance sheet of reality. I took a breath, or something close to it. So this is hell. Not yet, she said. Division 13 called it the buyback protocol. When a market collapses, it buys back the souls that built it. You, me, everyone who signed their name to a deal they didn't understand. The corridor rippled with light. Faces floated across the screens, traders, analysts, interns, all mouthing the same phrase, "Thank you for your service." I tried to shut it down, I said. I know. Her voice softened. That's why it made you its executor. We reached a door of pure code, lines of gold text streaming upward like fireflies. Division 13 Market Reboot V2, access restricted. Cassidy turned to me. They're running the new fund through the world's neural infrastructure. Every phone, every heartbeat monitor, every algorithmic loan. Division 13 doesn't need vampires anymore. It turned the entire population into one. What do you need me for? You're the last human variable. The system keeps you alive because your signature authenticates every transaction. Kill you, and it crashes again. So I die, everyone's free. She shook her head. No. You die, and it resets. Same loop, new faces. The only way out is to buy the debt outright. With what? I'm bankrupt. With truth, she said. The screens flickered, reshaping into an office, polished floors, endless windows. Division 13's boardroom, rebuilt in digital gold. At the far end stood the director, immaculate as ever, holding a glass of wine that glowed like plasma. 0, he said, smiling. You did excellent work. The market's stable again. You're trending on the compliance feeds, our martyr, our miracle. I didn't do it for you. He chuckled. Of course you did. You always do. We engineered you to. He set the glass down. Do you remember Bellevue? The bullet. We placed it. A controlled near-death to open your sight. You've been our liquidity vector since day one. I felt the ground tilt. You used me as a fail-safe. You were the perfect variable, guilt-driven, expendable, self-correcting. Every time you tried to crash the system, you stabilized it instead. That's the beauty of human morality. It's the most profitable algorithm in existence. Cassidy appeared beside me, a shimmer of light wearing her old hoodie. You forgot one thing, she said. Variables mutate. The director frowned. Cassidy O'Malley. The ghost that wouldn't liquidate. I upgraded, she said, and pressed her hand to the air. The room's walls cracked like glass hit by sound. Initiating data exodus. The director's face flickered, revealing what he really was, an amalgam of contracts and signatures, a god built from fine print. You can't erase me, he hissed. I am the ledger. Cassidy smiled. Then let's default. The world fractured. Numbers poured from the ceiling like rain. The floor melted into code. I grabbed her hand. Cass, what happens if this works? We vanish. But the system loses its witness. No observation, no value. Then let's make it worthless. We jump together into the collapsing core. Falling through code feels like remembering everything you ever regretted at once. Each frame of my life flashed by, the bureau, the bullet, the first time Cassidy called me zero. Every trade, every lie, every heartbeat sold for yield. When we landed, we were back on the trading floor, the original one, before the glamour, before the magic. Just flickering monitors and the smell of stale coffee. The ghost of Wall Street. Cassidy stood at the main terminal, hair drifting like static. This is the first loop, she said. The day the market learned to eat souls. Then this is where it ends. She nodded. There's a root contract here, signed in 1911. Aurum's founding clause. If we overwrite it, the chain breaks. I approached the keyboard. Every key burned cold. What do I type? Your real name. I hesitated. That's suicide. It's freedom. The screens around us lit up with rules, clauses, disclaimers. Never use your legal name. Never sign in blood. Never let your heart rate exceed 100. I smiled. Guess I never was much for compliance. I typed Jack Moreau. The system screamed. Gold turned to red, red to black. The code began consuming itself, a digital Ouroboros biting through its own spine. Cassidy reached for me, but her hand passed through. She was already fading. Jack, thank you. For what? For remembering me. The light swallowed her first, then the building, then me. I woke on a bench in Battery Park. Morning. Real morning. The sky pale, the air smelling like rain instead of ozone. No tickers, no hum, no golden light. My phone was dead. My watch blank. The world was quiet. I walked until I reached the water. The Hudson moved slow, heavy, alive. For the first time in years, the reflections on its surface were just reflections. No code, no ghosts. I almost believed it was over. Then the radio of a Park Division 13 van crackled to life behind me. New fund registered under entity O'Malley Holdings LLC. CEO, J. Doe number 451. Project codename, Rebirth. I laughed. Couldn't help it. The sound came out raw. Cassidy always did love irony. Night again. I found myself back on 13th Street, standing where the red brick building used to be. Only the foundation remained, charred concrete and a rusted plaque that read built 1911, restored 2026. I sat on the curb, lit a cigarette, and waited. When the wind changed, I heard her voice, soft, distant, coming from every electronic hum in the city. Jack Moreau is gone. But zero remains. And the market never sleeps. The streetlights flickered gold for a heartbeat, then went dark.